All right. Good morning, Senior Home Business family. Welcome back to the Wednesday Live. We didn't have it last week because it was Thanksgiving week, and we decided to close the offices and whatever we want to do. We still receive phone calls, right, Brittany, from clients and things, but just the everyday kind of stuff, getting on here and doing some other videos and teaching and thing. We kind of took the week off, and man, it was a blessing for us. I know, Brittany, I don't know about you, Brittany, but man, most of my adult life, I could never do that. I could never just take a week and just say, you know what, I'm just going to chill. And I always said was depending on going somewhere, had to be at a certain place, clock in, all that good stuff. So if you want to learn more about what we do, you're just interested, you popped on the channel by accident, you're watching us live or the recorded version, you can drop down, click a link, and learn more about the Senior Placement Institute. You can schedule a consultation call with us. You can watch a podcast, do all that good stuff. But we're going to get into it today, Brittany, talking about 10 simple ways seniors can stay active, happy, and thriving. And I just kind of thought about this topic because there's so many seniors that I encounter either have lost hope, and then I've encountered all these other seniors that seem like they have so much purpose in life, it's not even funny. So it's just kind of like, what are some simple ways maybe you, as a loving daughter, loving son, can encourage your mom or your grandpa or your grandma in some ways to stay active, happy, and thriving? Because if you lose purpose, this is my own personal belief, but if you just lose purpose, meaning in life, you have no goals, you just don't have a hobby, there's no interest, you're just kind of waking up, drinking coffee, sitting back, watching the birds fly. I mean, that's not going to cut it, I don't think. And so we're going to kind of go through some of that today. And I got a funny video, so stay with us today because I got this guy. He's a 72-year-old comic. So it is kind of funny. So I want to play a little bit of that today. And the reason I want to play him, not just because it's comedy, but it's just here's a 72-year-old gentleman that has been doing his craft for the last 40 some years, but still at age 72, out and about, hanging out with people and having fun in purpose-driven life. Brittany, what do you think about that? I mean, what are most of the clients you encounter? I mean, I know it varies because it depends on if we meet them in skilled nursing. That can be very depressing. They just went to the hospital. But by and large, let me ask it this way. Have you met any significant amount of seniors that when you encounter them, they go, man, they're full of life. They can't wait for the next step in their life?
I would say most of mine, no. I know that sounds very depressing, but most of my clients are not in that mindset at the time. But I can say that I've had success when they do move to a community that is their mindset. I've told this story before, a quick one. This lady did not want to move. That was not her mindset, that she was full of life. We knew she was social. I get a lot of that. We know they're social, but this next step is scary, of course. So they don't let us know that they're excited about bingo and all these things and everything going on. But she ended up moving, and within about a week and a half, she really did not want to leave her condo. But her daughter called her and said, "Hey, Mom, I'm coming at 2:00. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to get the rest of your stuff from your condo." She said, "I can't do 2:00. I have a lunch and learn, and then I have bingo, and then I have a movie." And she was thriving. I mean, she really was excited about life again. So I can't say most of my clients, they do come from hospital, skilled nursing. They're down. They want to go back home.
True.
But I've seen them get their life back. So yeah, I've seen it come out of them. And you can even tell, you can probably relate if you talk to the senior themselves. You can tell it's there. They're just scared. This is not a fun move usually. So I feel like it's there in them, and maybe they've been suppressed for so long because they've been at home alone and not much to do and just drinking their coffee and watching the birds and watching the golf course. There's not much stimulation. So I think it's there a lot of times. I just think they kind of downplay it and suppress it, and I don't think they want us to know they're excited sometimes. I think they kind of put it, So.
Well, I can't wait to get in these 10 different ways. Before I do, KC, my brother, he said just starting and learning a ton. Hey, KC, as a side note, call me today, my brother. I know we texted last week, and I think Thanksgiving kind of interfered and all that stuff. But call me today. I want to talk to you and help you out as best I can. So, and we also got Joe in the house today. We'll bring Joe on in just a second. But before we do, let's go ahead and get into, we're talking about the 10 simple ways seniors can stay active, happy, and thriving. And the first one is engage in physical activities. This is a perpetual slowdown with seniors. And I totally get it, guys. I just turned 56. I don't seem as motivated as I once was. I mean, you got, let me do a, can I do a full disclosure? Because we like to have, oh my gosh, my camera's going crazy for a minute. Hey, Brittany, take over the show real quick. I'm going to have to put my AI camera back in line. Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay. So engaging in I don't know where he was going with this. I'm just gonna take the reign. So physical activity, if I always say, and we always say in this industry, if you don't use it, you lose it. So a lot of times, like just like us, if you stop using the muscles or stop using your brain, even sometimes you lose it. So physical activity is really good. Going to the senior living part of it, a lot of places do have a lot of physical activity, but if you don't use it, you lose it. I feel like that's what everybody says in this industry about seniors, and it's true. You can tell if they go to the hospital, like even if they just went for COVID or whatever it is, if they don't use their muscles, they need physical therapy and occupational therapy to get that back going. So sorry, Matt, I did not know where you were going. So
no, I'm sorry. My AI camera went crazy for a second.
You're fine.
It was my fault. I actually forgot to kick the thing up. What I was going to talk about is just being full. Oh, we got some kickback there. I don't know what's going on. We got a little echo going on.
Is it me?
Dun, 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 little echo. Look. Okay, anyway, let's get going. So, full disclosure, like, you turn 56, I mean, you start seeing commercials like Nugenics, Total T, testosterone going down low. Man, I take 3 of these a day. And if I don't, matter of fact, I didn't take it. I got back on track like 2 weeks ago, and I went like maybe 2 months without taking it. And I noticed without taking it in my own life, my own body, man, around 7 o'clock at night, I was kind of getting nestled in, comfortable on the couch, and kind of like catching myself dozing. It's like, what is it? It's 7 o'clock at night. Testosterone going down low. But you think, I'm only 56. Imagine a 76-year-old, 86-year-old. You've got to stay active and engaged in physical activities. I don't care if it's, something at home, push-ups, taking a walk around the block. I got some elderly people in my area. I watch them. They walk around the block a little bit and exercise. So you've got to do that kind of thing. All right. So here we go. Number 2, before I get into the video, stay with us because we got a comedy video I want to show you. We're going to laugh and have fun. But again, it's a 72-year-old just having a lot of fun. But I think, Brittany, another way that seniors can stay active, happy, and thriving is they join some social clubs. Just join some groups. I remember when I first moved to California, there was a little grocery store down the street. It's still there, I guess. I'm out just outside that city now. My kids still live there. I live in Clovis, but and that little grocery store every morning, I don't know what time, I guess around 6:30, 7 o'clock, they had this little table that was set on the inside with like 8 different chairs around it, and a bunch of elderly people would just show up and they have a cup of coffee. They'd be playing cards at time. I don't know. I mean, they were just, doing little stuff right there. But it was social. And it's just, I assume, I don't know these individuals at the time. I assume they walked from wherever they came from, right? To go to that social event or that gathering of friends. And I'm telling you, that will not only prolong your life, that'll make you happy, right? And thriving. I mean, we understand the importance of friends when we're younger, but it seems like when we get older, we don't have as many friends. I kind of struggled with that when I was in my 40s. It's kind of like, man, I used to be very popular in school. And then it seems like the older I get, the shorter my circle becomes. And that becomes a power move later on, you guys. But it happens. But you got to make sure that you are not isolated, because that will become big. I mean, if you get older and your group and you become isolated, that's a danger, I think. Brittany, have you dealt with many seniors in the area of isolation?
Many, I would say more than not. They took kind of just about the, physical, just not being involved, or like I get a lot of stories when the families call me that they used to be very social. I hear the words used to. They used to do things. They used to be very friend oriented and have a group of friends. They did dinner parties and went to the theaters and stuff. So I get a lot of that. And like you mentioned, the older that you get, your circle is smaller. Unfortunately, the clients that I work with, a lot of them have passed. If they're in their 90s, their friends have passed away, their families passed away, they don't have much left. So I get a lot of the used to be. And then it's so easy to get in a routine where you don't get social again if you're at your home and you're just watching TV. Watching TV is the big one. They just sit in front of the TV all day and watch Family Feud or whatever that is. I would say,
hey, I love me some Steve Harvey. Let's go, Family Feud.
That's most of my clients, though. A lot of them have even if they were social, there are some that they'll tell you straightforward, my dad's never been social, my mom's never been social, but most of them have been. They just lost that part of their life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My mom and dad watch Family Feud all the time. There's many times I've called them, and if I call them around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, it's around 6, 7 their time. I guess that's when Family Feud comes on. And I say, hey, what you guys doing? Oh, we're just trying to get the answers to these questions from Steve Harvey. We're watching Family Feud. They do that consistently. So, hey, before we get into the video, I'm not trying to tease you guys. It's a great video. Stay with us. But I do want to bring in Joe because Joe's been waiting for a while here. Let's go. Let's bring Joe on stage. Joe, welcome aboard, my friend. Tell us about who you are, where you live, and what question you have that we can help you out.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm up here from Oregon, and actually didn't realize I'd be jumping on here. I thought I was just going to be watching. So, but I guess I do have some questions. I'm just new to the process.
We're full of surprises around here, Joe.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, just throw it in there. We'll figure it out as we go along. That's how life goes for me. Yeah, I'm just starting up here with this whole thing, kind of just figuring out what this is all about. Going through the process of getting my agency all set up currently. I guess I don't know if it's something you guys are going to talk about a little bit later or not, but I was just kind of thinking of some of the questions that might be, dealing with when you place a senior and maybe their family members, how can they get involved in the different ways to keep them active and things like that? I just kind of like, how does something like that normally work? Is that something that would be good as a agent to help, bridge that gap of communicating to them, saying, hey, these are events that are happening where your parents are staying, or, whatever it is, like somehow create some sort of communication between the two, just to help keep that. I see how important it is for family to be involved with their seniors, or friends or people like that could really help with their mental and just their well-being.
Hey, before we get into that question, Brady, I'll let you take that far as activities, how we can help coach people. But Casey's saying, hey, buddy, I'm just starting in Oregon too. Let's talk.
Nice.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, do you want me to answer, Matt? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. So with families, yeah, it's huge. Like communities are very overwhelming when seniors move in, no matter what. Usually they're kind of overwhelmed. It's a big activities calendar. You're going to see it have 5, 6, 7 activities per day, depending on the community. It'll have like a little code next to it. Oh, it's in the movie theater. It's in here. It's in there. So yeah, it's super important. So we always encourage families to even go to an activity with them. Go to their first happy hour with them. Go to bingo, whatever that looks like, or a movie, and get involved because the communities love it too. So if you get the family involved a little bit to take mom, introduce her to people or whatever that is, it's kind of like bringing, somebody into a new environment. You want support. So definitely encourage that, because if not, it's so easy to just fall into not getting involved in anything. Super easy. It's so overwhelming. You'll see a calendar and you're going to be like, whoa. And it'll say literally like movie theater will be abbreviation, whatever, MT, and they have to try to figure it out. So having someone that can be supportive and just say, hey, mom, did you go to the 2:00 movie today? If not, remember I showed you where it was. That's super. Yeah. I mean, I think that makes a huge difference. The community does help, but there's 100 and whatever residents depend on the community. So there's only so much that they can do every time. But yeah, when they first start, grandkids are good too. Have the grandkids come up, have them come up for dinner, have them come up to the craft. So the communities love it too. The other seniors love seeing people that aren't the same people they see every day. So they love that too.
That's awesome.
That's huge. That's a great question. And because it also helps with their success. You don't want the family and senior coming and saying they're miserable there, right? That they're unhappy there. So you want it to be as successful as possible. So make it a group effort, because they might say they're not unhappy regardless for a little bit. Most of them do to a point. But, getting them more involved will, some of that grief and everything about their old home, a lot of them, they forget. They kind of don't even go back. I want to go home anymore because I'm living a whole new chapter of my life. So that's the goal.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess maybe a little kind of side question on that would also be like getting a senior that's placed in there, if they have friends, somehow getting them involved and using that as a lead source. Like somehow getting involved, say, hey, if you got some friends, like, they're going to have bingo night, you come visit your friend at XYZ center or whatever it is. And somehow, I don't know if there's some way to work that also, if you guys ever came up with strategies for that, or.
That's actually a great twist. I can't say I've ever done that in this industry. I've done that in a different industry. I used to work for a for-profit educational school. And so instead of making all these 50 to 100 phone calls a day, I would just do that. Somebody would enroll. I'd say, hey, let's get out your cell phone and let's look for 6 to 10 buddies you can go to school with, because I knew they would stick. So, but I can't say I've ever tried that in this industry, but it's not a bad idea where your mind is going there in terms, because if you can get them, because that's the whole point, right? A lot of seniors don't want to go to a community, a care home, or a large community for that matter, because number one, it's like the end of the rope, right? It's like the last decision you're going to make, the last location you're going to live. They don't want to go. Plus the unknown. I mean, who's taking care of me? I got to establish friendships. I know there's a lot of people there, you say, but I haven't met any of these people. So that means I'm not really an extrovert. I'm more of an introvert. I'm more, to myself. So how is a person that's really to myself going to engage with other people mysteriously over dinner and become lifelong friends? So, but yeah, that's a great twist. I don't know how you would, Brittany, have you ever tried that?
I haven't, but I've toured friends together. So I've done that. I had a couple of friends that were looking together, so that was neat. And then I kind of like dropped a hint. Do you have any more friends? Like I kind of went that route. We can all tour together.
Nice.
So I have done that, but no, that's a good point. I could be even something. I mean, I'm thinking the long term too. If I move somebody in, could I go back and follow up with the family and the senior later once they're even used to the place and say, instead of like them directly referring. Now, one catch to that is a lot of communities do like paid referrals for their current residents. So a lot of my communities do. If you refer a friend, we'll give you $1,000 off your rent. So that is probably one catch that they might not go through me if, they might just refer them directly. I don't know. But I know a lot of the big communities here, if you refer a friend, they will either waive 1 month for you. They will give you an incentive for doing that.
Well, that's kind of cool though. Yeah. I think obviously the objective is to make the stay as comfortable for that elders living in that center. So I think that to me would be my objective. That would be my highest objective. So I think if that's a selling point, it would be great. So just something to be able to bring up to them. But for other questions, that's really all I had, I guess. Kind of. That's
good, Joe. I mean,
I'm on the spot there.
I appreciate you joining this, man. And I know you kind of just like, I thought I was going to watch you. Like, you're popping on the screen, ready to go. But thanks for joining us, man. But yeah, reach out to KC too. You guys are in similar areas. I don't know if you're in the same city. I know you're in the same state, evidently. But it's always good to have an accountability partner. Bounce things around. Yeah, it's good. All right, my brother. Great being on the show today, man. Appreciate it.
Well, if you have any other questions, just flag me on there and I'll jump on.
You bet, man. Bye-bye. All right. So, hey, we got through 2 of them, Brittany. So I want to go through the next 2 real quick. And I do want to jump in that video because I've been promising everybody's like, okay, where's that video? You just keep talking about it. So the next 2 is volunteer for a cause, right? I think that'd be cool for keep seniors. They're aging in place. They're at home. They're not quite ready to go yet to an assisted living. And it's something they can do. They can volunteer for a cause. There's many different, areas you can volunteer. It could be your church, could be a community center. It could just be in your neighborhood. It could be just a lot of different areas you can volunteer, right? And then the 4th one, learn something new. Now, I'm getting ready to show you this video. This guy didn't just learn this yesterday. Again, he's been doing this 40 plus years. But I don't think we're ever too old, Brittany. I hope not, because again, I'm 56. I don't think we're ever too old to learn something new, right? I agree. Yeah. I think we buy into that lie sometimes, don't we? We go, I wish I would have done this back in my 20s, but now I'm 56. I can't really do it because, and then we put all the all the limiting beliefs in that blank, whatever it may be, right? Too old. I'm not as athletic as I used to be. I'm not as good looking as I used to be. I don't have any hair anymore. I used to have hair, whatever it is, right? I don't see as good. I remember joking. Did I tell you that story one time? I was joking with my friend about 10 years ago. Yeah. So I was probably like 45 years old, and we were in a meeting together, and he had a cell phone, and I was about 5 feet away, and I could literally read his text. The words were so big, and he's wearing the glasses like this, and he was going like this, and we were close enough where it wouldn't be insulting, but I was like, dude, I mean, you have to have it on PowerPoint? I mean, it's like you got it on a wall. And then you fast forward like 2 years after that, I was going to get some of these. I was like, oh my gosh, man, is that karma? Is that just, I don't know what that is, but yeah, you can learn something new. So I want to show you this video I've been telling you about. This guy, let's see, his name is Andy Huggins. He's in Texas, Brittany. I think he's in Houston, in that area. I don't think he travels a whole lot anymore. around 72 years of age, and a comedian. So I want to share this because we're talking about seniors. We'll always do that on this show, Senior Home Business. But just in the light of, hey, you can learn something new. And again, to reiterate, I understand this guy's been doing this 40 plus years. He didn't start this yesterday, but he's still active. And I'm super impressed with that. So let's bring in Andy to the screen here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so funny. I've watched a little bit of this. You guys ready? Here we go.
I'm a gamer. Do we have any gamers? What's your game? I'm sorry? Rocket League. Tic-tac-toe. Sometimes till 7 o'clock at night. Walking can be difficult for me at times. I do worry about tripping and falling, so I wear a helmet. I also worry about looking ridiculous, so I carry a skateboard. I used to smoke cigarettes. I was a heavy smoker. I would even smoke when I went jogging, which is stupid, of course. So I quit jogging. I love smoking cigarettes. I'd smoke after sex. I'd smoke during sex. Sometimes I would skip sex and just smoke cigarettes. I'm officially an old man. I give unwanted advice to total strangers. I told a kid to pull his pants up. His underwear was showing. He mocked me, tried to give me a wedgie. But the joke was on him. I was wearing the pins. I got a brochure in the mail for a prepaid cremation. No, it's a great deal. If you die in a fire, you get half your money back. Thinking of getting a tattoo. I'm just not sure what kind I want to get yet. I'm thinking maybe barbed wire, a skull, my home address.
Anyway.
He is funny.
Oh my goodness, man, that guy's hilarious. But the point is this, man, he's 72 years old. He's still active. He's still out and about. I remember my granddad. He died actually at 72 in an auto accident. So, but up until that point, he was completely healthy. And this guy, my granddad, smoked Pall Mall cigarettes until we started when he was 12. So he did it for 60 years. Now, if you don't know anything about Pall Mall cigarettes, which I don't know much about cigarettes, I just knew every time you smoke a cigarette, it looked like he was smoking a joint because it didn't have a filter on the end. It was just a big white thing. So he was getting all unfiltered stuff. And I was convinced later on in life that if he actually stopped smoking cigarettes, he probably would have died. I mean, his body was so used to that smoke, but he went and got a physical probably every year, the last 5, 6, 7 years of his life. And every time he went, you know, I didn't know when he was going to get a physical, but if you'd asked me, I probably thought, oh my gosh, man, he's going to have all kinds of stuff going on. Clean bill of health. So that guy talks about smoking cigarettes. Again, I'm not advocating smoking cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes. I'm not advocating it, but it's like some of this generation, man, they've been doing it for so long. And, but anyway, my granddad was extremely active until he died in an auto accident. It destroyed my life for a little bit, but I was only 16, right, by 16, 17 years of age. So anyway, all right, enough of that. But back to speaking of family, let's get into the fifth one. So if a senior is going to stay active, happy, and thriving, they need to stay connected with family. Now, the sad part comes when family is non-existent or family doesn't, there's just nowhere to be found. Maybe they don't have any siblings. Everybody's died off. They didn't have any kids, or the family's just not around. And Brittany, I don't know about you, I'm sure it is, but with me, that is one of the saddest parts of all when I'm talking to someone and then family's just not involved or just not around. And that's one of the areas that really propelled me early on in my business to establish virtual tours and to have them on my phone. Because when I went to skilled nursing facilities and I would encounter, I remember this one guy I was talking to and happened many times thereafter, talking to this gentleman about family, because a lot of the conversations I have, you guys, in this business is with the adult kids. Right? It's mainly that's what it is. But you go to skilled nursing, you go there and you have a relationship with a social worker. We teach you all that at senior placements too. But you get to the point, I'm speaking to the senior, then I'm expected next to speak with the family. But then I encountered this one guy, and I encountered many thereafter that didn't have immediate family. They weren't nearby, or they didn't exist. And I was like, I don't want to have this guy move to a community just because he can afford it, just because it's in his budget. I want him to be able to see it, and he can't leave. So the worst case, the last thing I want this guy to do is get into medical transport, go to a community, and then boom. I mean, I don't know. That's just let's get rid of that right there. I think there's some feedback. So that's just my kind of thing. So I started doing virtual tours because of that. And so it's just staying connected with family is so important. I don't know, Brittany. I think the move-ins tend to go a little bit better when there's family, and family is connected, and they're able to offer input, involvement, encouragement, motivation, or whatever it is. What's your experience with that?
Definitely. I want to say positive involvement. There can be, not to be on the negative end, but yeah, if there is a family that is positively involved, wants the best for their loved one, which is 99.9% of people in this world, I'm sure, I hope. That's the case. Yeah, it helps a lot. It gives them a support system. It's not putting the decision on the senior alone. A lot, like we said, we work with the adult children a lot because honestly, they're usually making the decision for the most part. Like, yes, they're involving mom or dad if they can. If someone has dementia and things, there's a little bit of a different story there. But if like a senior that needs assisted living, they're involving them. But for the most part, they do all the groundwork. It's a lot of work. That's why we're here, to help them not go through all this work. So yeah, having a supporting family to help them make these decisions, look at the big picture, not just, be able to go look at the communities for them, things like that is huge.
Absolutely. All right, that's the first 5. Let's get into the next 5 real quick. Let's rapid fire these. Practice mindfulness or meditation. I don't want to get too hot and heavy into that. That's a big thing in my life and what I do. And I think it's important for seniors at least to have a time of quietness, alone time, reflection, all that kind of stuff. You can kind of go with that as you will, but I think that's important. And then number 7, participate in group exercises. We kind of talked a little bit about that early on, but I think the group exercises would be kind of cool. There's the accountability part of it, not just doing it on your own. Kind of like the example I gave you, Forrest. Someone going to the store and sitting around the table, doing that as far as exercises. And then, Brittany, what about this one? Exploring local attractions. I mean, like museums would be a cool thing, right? Again, this probably reflecting my age. I think museums are cool. I don't know. I think antique shops are really cool, right? This guy that we just showed, the comedian, he says something like that in one of his little deals. He goes, man, I like going to antique shops, but when I go, they always ask me to stay or something like that. It's kind of funny, but anyway, but local attractions. I mean, if you're ambulatory, again, if the senior is able to, and I understand there's a lot of limitations that are out there. If someone's got bad knees, this had knee surgery. My dad had, knee surgery twice. And, fortunately he's up and about now. And it's been that's been about a year and some change now. So he's on the other side of it. Sometimes people are in wheelchairs, walkers, or, maybe it's just crutches and, your broken leg, or, maybe it's a certain kind of medication you got to have, and you can't be out certain, extended period of time, whatever it may be. But try to, all possible, when possible, to get out and some local attraction. I don't care. Like my dad, for instance, museums would be pretty cool for him, but he would also love ball games, going to baseball games, football games, stuff like that. Just kind of getting out. It's a little different scenery. You're getting out of your house. It's out of the, what you do consistently every day. If your loved one is just looking at the walls, or just going out in the patio and just watching the birds fly, stuff like that, that could be cool for the meditation part, the quietness, to get, have some alone time. But I would not encourage that on an ongoing basis. They've got to have some interaction with family, but also not just family for the sake of family coming over for like birthdays and holidays, but just for memories. Establishing memories are so cool. I mean, I got to the place now, fortunately in my life, I'd rather have a good memory than money. Now, I can't always say that, because there was a time I was flat broke and I'd be saying, man, I need some money in order to create the memories, but just kind of flipped that a little bit now in my life. But nothing about memories. It's just so much fun just to, see different, especially my grandkids, and seeing them, experience life, and doing something for the very first time and how they respond. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. So I don't know, Brittany, local attractions, what are some other things seniors can do when they're able to physically understand that outside of the physical limitations? What are some other things they can kind of do?
I like the well, here in Missouri, at least in St. Louis, we have the Fox, like the theater. They love that, like going to see the plays and the Wicked and all those things. They love doing that. Also, like you mentioned, the groups. A lot of people, we have senior centers, so like local senior centers that do group activities, just sit and do coffee. Like they do also like tours and things as well. A really cool thing, not local. My community used to do it. If they're able, they go on cruises. Like I've had them go on cruises. And another thing that they do the road trips, and like they rent a charter bus and they go to like different states and they do a whole road trip. So that's not local, but those are cool things that people can do if they're able. The cool thing, not to get into the community side of it, but if you're in assisted living, a lot of times they bring a caregiver with you to go to like the butterfly house or see whatever that looks like. So that's pretty cool too. They can bring the caregivers to help these seniors go on certain things like that.
Yeah, and I tell you, in the communities, to your point there, I know a community, and I mentioned this one time before, a long time ago on this channel. They have a contest every month, and I don't know what they do for as a contest, but the winner of that particular month, however they determine the winner, gets to choose one thing to do, and the community will support their endeavor in doing that activity. And there was one time, it was either skydiving or bungee jumping. It was just so out there. I was like, you got to be kidding me. When they told me the story, I really thought they were making it up. I was like, I know you're not talking about a senior. And they were like, absolutely. They signed a waiver. Family was okay with it. We went through the proper protocols. And I'm thinking, I'm not doing either one of those two things. I'm not quite a senior yet, right? But I thought it was so cool, the community. The point I'm trying to make is that every month they had a certain senior. They would come together, pull some community resources, as far as their connections, money, everything else, to make part of their bucket list come true. Because everybody's got a bucket list, right? Everybody's got a bucket list, what you want to do. And within reason, I mean, I know if somebody probably said, hey, I want to travel the world, for the next 365 days, they probably couldn't do that. But within reason, they could pick an activity and go do it. But man, that's so cool. So yeah, but if you're not in that community, it's important for your senior, your loved one, to be involved in some activities. The last two real quick, man, keep a pet. Brittany, you have dogs. I have dogs. Some people love cats. Some people love snakes. I don't love snakes. It's just, you love snakes, Brittany?
No, but
Okay.
I like lizards. I had lizards
Yeah,
growing up.
lizards are a little different. I don't mind lizards.
Yeah, no snakes.
Yeah,
I
my
like
wife
all animals, but
my wife and I joke about this. Matter of fact, we just did the other day. We got talking about snakes, and she was like, babe, I love you to pieces, but if you had a snake, that would have been a deal breaker.
I don't blame her.
No, I know so many people have snakes. That's great. I know I had these friends back east, and I was in youth ministry for a long time, and one of the kids was in our youth ministry. His parents would help out at times. So anyway, this guy Paul, the husband, told me this story. His kid had a snake. And I don't know what kind of snake it was. It wasn't that big of a snake, but evidently a snake got loose in the house. They didn't know where the snake was. And anyway, Paul and his wife went to bed one night, and they were in bed probably about 2 minutes, less than 5, probably like 2 minutes. And his wife starts to scream. Ah! That snake was going around her legs. Dude, that would have been terrible. There's no way in the world I'd be doing that. So, but keep a pet. And communities, we've talked about this on this channel too before. Communities will allow you to have pets at times. Not all communities, but most. And there's usually some stipulation to it. You got to be able to take care of the pet. Pets got to have their shots. You got to be able to. Pets got to be friendly. It can't be a pet that's going to be trying to bite residents and people coming on tours and things like that. But anyway, so Brittany lost us for a little bit, but hey, Craig, what's up, Craig?
Wait,
man, what's going on?
Hold on a second. Oh, we're doing well. We're doing well down here.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving.
Good to
Got
see
a little
you.
cool here. Cool for New Orleans. We got down in the 40s last night.
Down in the 40s. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal here.
That's freezing weather. Freezing weather. What's happening? How can I help you out? You got a question for me?
Yes, I was Well, I was calling. Let me get my thoughts together here.
That's all right. That's all right. Take your time.
I had
Take your time.
I was on here. Let me get back on the version.
All right, Craig. While you're thinking about that, I'll leave you on. But
Yeah,
you got the question?
I will get. I gotta get back in. I lost you on my screen. That was my fault.
That's all right. Okay, while you're pulling that up, the 10th one you see on the screen: maintain a healthy diet and sleep routine. And this becomes challenging for seniors that are out there, you guys. I'm telling you, it's easier for seniors, and I attest to this as I'm getting older as well. It's easier to snack along the way. It's easier to eat the wrong foods at night. It's comforting. It's wonderful. It's just kind of relaxing because you're kind of getting in your sofa, your couch, getting comfortable watching TV. But it's important that your loved one maintains a healthy diet and sleep routine. I mean, understand that I give an example of my dad, for instance. I'm challenging my mom and dad in this area because my dad, for instance, he loves wrestling. I don't know why, but he just does. I think it's every Monday and Friday night, watches wrestling. So he'll stay up late. And I don't know what late is with wrestling. Maybe it's midnight, something like that. But then he's still an early riser. He's always been that way ever since I've known my dad, ever since I've come to realize, people's sleeping habits and stuff like that. My dad's always been up early. So he'll still get up like 6 o'clock in the morning, even though he goes to bed at 12. But then what'll happen is he'll take a nap, 2 or 3 hour nap during the day. So it's kind of like your sleep routine, and if that's what you want to do and that's optimal for your body, then that's one thing. But if it's just because you're just staying up real late, forcing yourself to do something maybe that you can record on TV, because he could actually record that, right? He can record it and watch it the next day. During the day, he's retired. He didn't have anything to do. He can make that part of his 2 hours for the next day. So anyway, but maintain a healthy diet and sleep routine. So that was the 10th one. All right, Craig, what's your question, my friend?
My question. Okay. Have you found in anybody that's listening in your audience, maybe the last 3 months, 4 months?
Oh, we lost Craig. I don't know where the question was going. In the last 3 or 4 months, let's hang on for a little bit. I don't know where he's going, but we're gonna wait for him to come back because I like to. Craig's been one of our students for quite some time, so he's going to ask us a question about that. But hey, if you've lasted this long and you want to know more about what we do and helping seniors at no cost, no obligation, how to do this business, and I mean how to do it, because there's plenty of people that attempt to do this business, and oftentimes they may do it the wrong way. They may not be able to establish their brand the correct way because they just don't know the ins and outs of the business. They don't know how to start this business and operate this business successfully. And that's cool. I mean, we all can learn. And so, but if you'd like to learn more and you want to know more about what we do, just drop down, click the link, schedule a consultation call with us, and learn more about the Senior Placement Institute. We love to help you out. We love to share with you how we get a chance to operate out of the comfort of our home. Now, this is the house that I live in, right? I have 2 offices. This is literally a built-in office. You can tell this is not a bedroom, but it's a built-in office. There's some French doors over there and that kind of thing. Marker boards all over the place because that's what I got. So, but if you want to know more about this, you can do this, and we'd love to teach you. But hey, let's get Craig back on. Craig, I lost you for a second, my friend. I don't know where you went.
I'm fine. I'm not going to touch my computer. I was just asking a general question. If you all found the last 3 or 4 months somewhat slow as far as placements go.
Not for me. I've heard that a little bit here and there. And I think it comes down to the person's network. It comes down to, of course, their lead gen, right? As far as their sources is concerned. But for me, no. And it's typically, and I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I don't know why I wouldn't, because it's happened every year. Every year where I live, and this is not true for everybody. Again, this is just for me, because you talked to Brittany, she was on here just a second ago. She'd have a completely different story. Okay. But for me, for whatever reason, January is typically extremely slow for me. Now, I still do a lot of business, so it's just slow for me. It might be busy for everyone else, but it's slow for me. I have no idea why that happens in my area, or maybe it's just me. I have no idea. And so I try to, done everything to kind of drum up business and do as much as I do in the other months, to the point my wife and I, we just established 11-month budget. So we don't even count in January. Whatever comes in January, which is could be a considerable amount, that's just a bonus for us. So, but no, things have not slowed up. If anything, things are speeding up because of the market, the seniors that are moving. But I think it comes down, Craig, to your lead sources. That you want obviously a qualified lead, and oftentimes, a lead is just not a lead, right? It could be, but it may not be a productive lead, meaning that you might not be able to. I got Brittany on the phone here. You might not be able to assist them and help them, but you can also, I don't know. It's just not a productive lead because you're not able to help them because they don't have the resources, but you help them as best they can. But hey, Brittany, the question I got from Craig, we're still on.
I'm so sorry. My phone kicked me off. I got a phone call and it.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We're still on real quick. Craig wants to know, have we seen any, and I told him I haven't from my standpoint, but I have heard from other students, and I think my reasoning would be lead sources, but he's asking have we seen a slowdown the last 3 or 4 months?
I would say no, not in my opinion. No, I think, there's a lot of factors. Holidays could have a factor on it. Like even going back to school sometimes can have a factor on it. But like to your point, lead sources would probably be a big reason why, just kind of where you're getting your leads from. The hospitals, the rehabs, they don't really slow down. There's not like kind of a trend. So I would say no from my experience.
Yeah, that's what I think.
My background prior to this is real estate and real estate development, building, what have you. So I know it goes true for the real estate market. When there's instability in the country, when there's high interest rates, or there's instability in policies and what have you, that just really puts brakes on people. They hunker down. They don't make big decisions. They don't go buy the new car. They don't go buy, or they don't go buy the new house. And they may be, a lot of times we have families that are contributing so many hundreds of dollars a month for their mother or father to be in assisted living, or to be in assisted living, and then they get a little gun shy when things are tightening up. And so I thought it would be still could be in the part of, whatever part of the country.
Well, to your point, Craig, I think it'd be valid for people that are on the fringe, that are on the fence. Maybe they're a lead, a candidate, that would move, like a resident, to say, I might want to do this a couple of years from now. But when you get the lead source from a skilled nursing facility, and their option is to go to assisted living because they can't take care of themselves, it doesn't matter what the economy says. Now, it does matter where they go based on the money they have at their disposal, but they don't make that. I get your point, though. I'm not refuting your point at all. I think your point is valid, especially when it comes to real estate, cars, or maybe any kind of luxury, or somebody that maybe is independent that's been thinking about going to assisted living, or going to independent living and saying, well, the cost wise, I don't know. But then again, I talked to a student last night. She's got a lead. It's a husband and wife. They both have long-term care. I don't know the long-term care daily rate. Let's say it's $150 each. That's $9,000 a month. So it would actually be a savings if they would actually capitalize and use the LTC and move, because they're not going to pay mortgage or rent anymore because they're going to sell the house, or they're not going to pay lights. They're not going to pay Wi-Fi. They're not going to pay food unless they want extras. There's a lot of things they're not going to pay, right? So they'd actually be saving money if they would use that. So again, it comes down to the lead source. Yeah.
I understand.
I think it's like the need portion of it. Like you said, the people that are on the fence, I could totally see that. Like if they're maybe just need a little bit of assistance, but if somebody has to have the assistance, it's really a need. So there's not many other options.
Absolutely.
No, they're coming. Yeah, when they're coming out of skilled nursing, rehab, they don't have many choices. I mean, they have to do it kind of one way or the other. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Any other? Have you ever considered increasing your, or maybe you already have, your repertoire? In other words, what your service offerings? You know, you offer assisted living, memory care, okay,
Yeah.
placements. That's the structure, the main skeleton of the business. But have you ever thought about hooking up with maybe an existing firm in home health? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't personally. I have, full disclosure, been connected with one home health company. This was several years ago. Matter of fact, 3 or 4 years ago, I think. They reached out to me. I really didn't have that big of a pull to do that. Some of my students do it. I know some local placement agencies that do it as well. I don't think it's a bad thing. That's just not my focus. But they reached out to me, and at the time, again, this is about 3-year-old information. So at the time, they wanted to give me 5% every month of a resident that they would assist, right? So I did the math real quick in my head, and I thought, man, 5% just doesn't move the needle for me. It doesn't motivate me, right? I'm not trying to be whatever on this channel. Doesn't move me, and if it doesn't move me, I'm not going to do it. So I just threw it out there. I said, well, the lady was a nurse. She goes, well, what was it going to take you to do this? I mean, that's what we give. We give 2.5%, but we're going to give you 5%. And I said, well, what might move the needle if you double it? She goes, I just did. I said, no, 5 to 10. And so then she came back about a week later. She talked to whoever did. So they were like, all right, let's do it. I was okay. So I did that only because they reached out to me. I did that for a little bit, but it was more if someone needed it. I didn't really, establish a certain strategy to go after clients that needed home health or home care, right? I didn't do that piece, but if I ever encountered somebody that was the best fit, then I got them in that direction, but I didn't actively seek it out. Brittany, what's been your experience? Do you do any of that with home care?
I get a lot of home care. So I don't get a commission. However, I have a really good relationship with a handful, especially one that I've probably given, I can't even say how many clients to, so many, where we have an active relationship where all of their clients basically that can no longer, let's say that like home care is not doing it enough anymore, or they're maxing out how much they can afford in home care and need to make a move. They give me all of those clients that they have. So we have a working relationship where I'm not getting commission from them, but we have kind of a relationship where we refer back and forth, and it's pretty exclusive. So I get kind of everyone that can no longer use their services, or even if it doesn't work out, or if they need more care than they can provide, or they can't afford it, they bring them to me. So because I have a lot of people that I refer to them are 24/7, which is, $22,000 plus a month for them, a client. So we just kind of work in tandem with each other. So we do a lot of that. I do get a lot of private duty. I don't have care home in one of my markets. So the next best thing is kind of private duty if somebody can afford it, to get that one-on-one.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, my man. Well, hey, Brittany, thank you so much. Craig, we're going to have to end it there, my friend. You have another question real quick?
No, I'm just saying I have a letter that I've assembled sitting on my desk, and maybe in the next week or two, I'm going to send it to a number of home care communities to develop a relationship with them.
If nothing else, like if it happens the way it happened with me and you get a little bit of kickback for it, or like with Brittany, you get the relationship and you're able to go back and forth with leads, that'll help. That'll be another lead source for you. Absolutely.
Good. Absolutely.
All right, my friend.
Have a great day.
Hey, you too, Craig. Good seeing you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while because Brittany does such a great job with the midweek collaboration meetings, roundtable. I'm not there, but it's always good to see you, Craig. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
All right, guys, that'll do it. Senior Home Business. Again, if you want to know more about what we do, that's some of our students you saw on the screen. They kind of popped in. You can click down below and schedule a consultation call with us. We'd love to talk to you about this business, share with you. You can have an opportunity to buy an online course if you want. We're more of a community, so we do have coaching It could be everything from one-on-one coaching to group coaching, midweek collaboration meetings, monthly workshops, to the basics. If you're just starting your business, the last 90 days will help you out, get you going. So until next time, God bless.